Hi, Rachel. Happy May Day.
Mayday!
May
Hello.
Day. Wow. Do you have you done anything in I guess I'm asking for May Days specifically. I'm asking because when I went to college, we celebrated May Day with lots of fun food and festival, and we had these like Renaissance people come and put on little Shakespearean blurbs play, not maybe
Yeah.
not the whole play, but and then
Yeah.
wandering minstrels, and we ate strawberries and cream, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. All
Fun.
Yeah, I went to a women's college, so called Bryn Mawr, and all the women dressed up in white. You know.
Wow.
Anyway, so it was fun and festive, and yeah.
Mhm.
And so I'm wearing well, this isn't white, but I'm wearing white slacks today.
Well, I'm
And
sort
on
of wearing a creamish top. I didn't know, but I came to play apparently.
the yeah. Yeah, I don't know. All the etiquette on colors and when you can wear them, that's all old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody follows those rules anymore.
No, no. That's so true. So, but it is beautiful out there, isn't it? And what a beautiful day for the first day of May.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. So, yes, I might have said this last week. Sorry for repeating myself, but we have a mock orange. I wish I could show that. It's a shrub that has these beautiful little white flowers, and it's so fragrant. And so
Mm.
it's like aromatherapy as my clients come through the door, and it
Oh,
just
nice.
hits them and takes them to their happy place.
Wow. Are you charging more for the spa experience?
Yeah.
You need to let them know there's a little surcharge for their aromatherapy
No,
and
no,
a little
no.
music in the background and maybe
Yeah.
some gongs for a sound
Y
bath.
Yeah, sound bath. Yeah, yeah, doing it all here. Yeah,
Touching on
wanna have
all that meditative and Zen stuff. We're just
mhm.
yeah,
Just re-engaging the
well-being.
parasympathetic nervous system. That's what we do. That's what we do.
That's how we roll.
Yeah. Rachel, you brought up, and we've alluded to it a couple of
Mhm,
times, I think, as we've talked and shared about, lifestyle and the pillars of lifestyle medicine.
mm.
And but you've alluded to, and we've talked about the blue zones. So why don't you share a little bit about your interest in the blue zones and take it from
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'm excited because we're gonna start this new series. It'll be about
Mhm.
a 10-week series really, because we're gonna go through the Power 9. So today is just an introduction of the
Mhm.
blue zones, and to
Mhm.
talk more about what they are and what this concept is and why do we care about this. But I'm
Mhm.
really excited because it can be, it's not only interesting and it expands the mind to, other places around the globe
Mhm.
where these
Mm.
people groups have been identified. So I think that always brings up my imagination and some
Mhm.
curiosity. Um,
Right.
so the blue zones are these areas of the world. There
Mhm.
are 5 primary blue
Mm.
zones. So I think that, what's really cool is that they've expanded this. They're looking for more,
Mm.
and they have an entire, um, program dedicated to designing and creating blue zones in your backyard. So you can
Mm.
literally like sign up for your city to become a blue zone. And then, you've got to have the resources and the support. And these cities gather together and they create their city into a blue
Mm.
zone based on
That's
these.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just
that's so
so
cool.
cool. It's so
Yeah.
cool. It's actually would be my dream to do that in my
Yeah.
little town of Albany.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, I should do that. But these blue zones are areas that this guy Dan Buettner, and I think he's a journalist and maybe a
Mhm.
researcher. I don't know that he's
Mhm.
a scientist by any means,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
he identified these areas where people are living. More people are living up to 100,
Mhm.
um, and living well at
Mhm.
100. Right? They're not on
Mhm.
medications and
Mhm.
living in hospice and whatever. No, they're well. They're like still gardening and doing things, and that
Yeah.
these areas have 10 times the frequency of centenarians than
Mhm.
the US. So he
Wow.
was curious, like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. So these
Hmm.
people groups have figured some things out.
Yes. Or I guess I'd like to say They haven't changed things.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Because we're all about the hack around here, right? We want to hack this and hack that and do the thing. And come on,
Well,
let's get, yeah.
we progress, right? Technology and cars and phones and computers, and make things as efficient as possible and be as comfortable as possible. And
Right.
let's not walk, let's drive. And it seems like a lot of these zones have some of the older ways still kind of preserved.
Cool. Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about those blue zones and the Power 9. Tell us about the Power 9. I think you have a little something to show us too.
Yeah, we're going to pull up a slide. The Power 9, I'll just describe it really quick, are the 9 lifestyle behaviors or key lifestyle elements that he recognized. So we talk a lot about lifestyle medicine and lifestyle habits. We're all about that. And so he tried to, all of the 5, there were many things that they did that were independent and separate from anybody else. So they were kind of outliers, but he identified 9 that were the same across 5 areas. And so he was trying to find what's the same. What are they all?
What's the common denominator here? Yeah.
What are the common denominators? Yes, thank you. That's a great term for that. So these 9 are, he calls them the Power 9, and they're key lifestyle behaviors or habits that if we would like to kind of tweak our life a little bit and take some notes from these centenarians, these are things we could do. So let's pull that up. Let me grab the spectacles. And okay. And then now you can pull that up, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I think I do it right here. Yeah. Oh, ta-da. We did it. Yay for us.
Look at that. Okay. So I'm going to have to scroll to, give me 1 second here to scroll, because I'll have to scroll it for us.
Right.
Yeah. And so
Power 9, reverse engineering longevity. Like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he teamed up with National Geographic. So that's interesting and it's kind of exciting to know that there's this, and we all know National Geographic is all about the exploration and the learn new things and figure some stuff out. And so what I think is really cool is that he mentions here the Danish twin study established that only 20% of how long we live is determined by our genes. And that's kind of what got him really like, okay, if it's only 20%, what's the 80?
Right.
What is the 80% that is determining if we live to 100 and if we live well to 100, if we're feeling, if we're doing well. So let's identify the areas real quick here.
So environment. So what you're saying is, so he's saying he's looking into the environment to see what forms and shapes health throughout the lifespan. Yeah.
Right. Because we've got these genes, and so much about the way that we live our life even determines whether or not those genes are even turned on. We can have a genetic predisposition to diabetes or breast cancer or lung disease, any of these things. But really, what are the environmental factors? And by environment, we really mean everything around you.
Right. And that's so empowering because there's so many things that maybe I'm not in control of the genes that I received, but wow, I might be able to change some things in my surroundings, in my environment, in my day-to-day life, in my habits that can impact the expression of those genes.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting to know, and that this is that field of epigenetics, to know that we are empowered by that. We have more control than we have led on to believe. Back in the day when I was a kid, it was like, well, so-and-so's got the diabetes, so you're going to have it too. It was kind of just, you sit back and,
or my mom had cancer, my grandma had cancer. I guess I'm going to, I actually had a neighbor, more than 25 years ago, that she just, what's the thing? I smoke, drink. You might as well smoke, drink, and be merry because tomorrow I'm going to die. So, she just had this fatalistic mindset that she couldn't change her genes. So
what's the point? Yeah.
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah, and now we know better. We know that we have a
Mhm.
lot of control. Now, there are a lot of things that aren't in our control. Like one of the concepts of creating a blue zone in your own town is that there needs to be walkable, safe spaces.
Mhm, mhm.
A lot of towns, Albany included, we don't have a great walking system. We don't have a lot of great sidewalks. We don't have, I mean, if you're in downtown, sure, but connected spaces where people can feel safe and walk, so that they're able to walk or bike rather than drive.
Right.
And so, you can't control that, but there are other things we can control. So let's look at the areas first. I think it's fascinating. There's Sardinia. So the
Mm.
Barbagia region of Sardinia. And these are mountainous highlands of the inner Sardinian, of inner Sardinia. And this is interesting, the world's highest concentration of male centenarians.
Right, because usually women outlive men. I mean, usually.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
interesting, huh? What are the dudes doing over there? That's
Mhm.
got my interest, right? Ikaria, Greece is an Aegean island with one of the world's lowest rates of middle-age mortality and the lowest rates
Mm.
of dementia.
Oh, I want to
Mm.
know what they're doing.
I want to know what they're doing. Yep.
Mhm.
Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica, world's largest rates of middle-age mortality, world's lowest rates of middle-age mortality,
Mhm.
second highest concentration of male
Mhm.
centenarians.
Mhm.
The Seventh-day Adventists. So this is the
Right.
only blue zone that's not an actual like country or
Mhm.
city, um,
Right.
or even people group, right? Like it's a
Right. It's a maybe a population of the Seventh-day Adventists in this space in California.
yes.
Mhm.
So it's in Loma Linda, California.
Mhm.
They live 10 years longer than other people, other North American, And what's amazing is they live 10 years longer to the people that are like across the highway from them.
Yeah, which is amazing. Yeah, that is crazy because there's, presumably they're breathing the same air.
Right. So this has been a great area of study and research because there are so many confounding things in research, but with this people group, you don't have to think about the air that they're breathing or the city laws, or because they're all
Mhm.
living in the same place, so they can really
Right.
compare it to.
Yeah.
And this is a group of people. Seventh-day Adventists aren't any one race. They
Mhm.
are a particular religious group,
Mhm.
but there's lots of different kinds of people within
Right,
that.
right.
That's
Yeah, definitely.
interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
The fifth one is Okinawa, Japan, and this is where
Mhm.
females over 70 are the longest lived population in the world.
Mm.
Um, so this is our 5 areas. Does anything
Mhm.
stick out to you about these 5 areas?
Well, when I'm reading the names of those places, it seems like old and, and lots of tradition maybe. And yeah, so I'm kind of guessing that, and a lot of wisdom may be handed down through the ages, those kinds of things. So that's kind of what I'm, imagining in my mind.
Yeah.
So a lot of natural spaces and
Mhm.
simple. It's, so simple life is what I'm kind of
Mhm.
imagining. Yeah.
Yeah, other than Okinawa, which I don't even know that much about it, but I would think that that's a bigger place. The other
Mhm.
ones seem to be smaller, probably
Mhm.
smaller regions. And what strikes me is that these are all over the place. They're not like they're all
Mhm.
next door to each
Yeah,
other.
it's not just in one area. They're all over the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you look at a map, they're evenly placed, around the map.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Okay, so
cool.
let's dive into our. Now, I don't know if I can get the whole thing on the
Oh, okay.
screen. Let me see if I can get it down a little bit. Maybe I can.
Ooh.
Oh, look at
Ooh, look
that.
at you. Huh.
Okay. So here are the Power Nine.
Wow.
And yeah, what strikes you when you look at this?
Well, it's not one thing.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's lots of things. So, yeah, it's not just eat right and exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of components. It's
Mhm.
pretty. It's a pretty diagram. It's colorful.
Yeah.
And he's got it separated out. Really, there's a connection piece, which has three
Mhm.
components.
Mhm.
There's an eating well, eating wisely, 3 components. Having the right mindset or outlook,
Mhm.
that's 2
Mhm.
components. And the
Mhm.
move is just 1 component, and it's
Mhm.
just move, right? It's
It kind of reminds me of the lifestyle pillars as far as so consistent. And I love when I get confirming information, coming from a different source, kind of confirming what have already learned. I don't mind being challenged in what I believe that I know to
right.
be true. On the other hand, it's fun to find confirming,
Mhm.
sources. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's I think Dean Ornish is one of those ones too, where he did his research and he's got one of the only programs that's, approved by insurance to, I don't know, I think it's reduce heart disease or something, but his is like eat well, love well, move well, stress less.
Mhm.
Those are his
Yeah.
components. Um, so I'll just briefly read these, and again, we're going to go through week by week and dive into each one in more
Mhm.
depth. But we have move naturally, and I think the descriptions of each one are very important. So don't just
Mhm.
take as we get into them, you'll really understand what he's talking about.
Right,
So
right.
move naturally,
Mm.
purpose, downshift,
Mm.
80% rule, plant slant,
Mm.
wine at 5, right tribe, loved ones first, and belong.
Uh-huh.
So
These are
those
so good. I love how they kind of shrunk. I don't know. They just kind of compacted, so much in 1 or 2 little words.
I
And
know.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to dive in and talk more about all these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are gonna be great, and hopefully we can bring clarity to each one.
Mhm.
Each
Mhm.
week will give you time to kind of ponder how you might,
Mhm.
interpret that for yourself and
Mhm.
incorporate it. Maybe you
Mhm.
practice all week, and then you come on back the next week and listen to the next one, and maybe give us
Mhm.
some comments on ways that you practiced
Right.
each
Yeah.
category. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, good. This is gonna be great,
It's gonna
Rachel.
be so
This is
good.
great.
Yeah,
Gonna be
I'm
good. So,
excited. And in the
yeah.
show notes, we do have resources. So,
Mm.
I've linked, the website, I've linked the cookbook, I've linked,
Mm.
that article we were looking at, the Power 9. So there's lots of resources in the show notes that you guys can
Mhm. And
grab
I
a hold
think
of.
there's a documentary too, right?
And there's a documentary, and it's
Yeah.
really good. It's very interesting, it's entertaining. Yeah, and it's beautiful. There's so much cinematography because, of course, they're in these
Mhm.
beautiful places.
Right, these gorgeous
So,
places.
yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, lovely. Okay, this is gonna be good.
Mhm.
Okay, so Rachel, in our remaining few moments, well,
Mhm.
tell us, what's for dinner?
What's for dinner tonight? So what's for dinner
Mhm.
tonight is something I made last night that I made enough to have leftovers, and it's my
Mhm.
new. I get on these kicks where I kind of make this one thing, and then I
Mhm.
just it's so good that I make it over and over
Mhm.
and over. And so this is what I'm on a
Mm.
kick for this, and it's tempeh street tacos.
Mm.
And
Oh,
so it's got I use high protein little street taco shells. They're like this big, right? They're just these tiny little guys. And I usually make about 2, and I saute. I'm newly inspired by the summit, right? The Food Revolution Summit was talking
oh,
about
yeah,
when you
yeah.
saute onions, garlic, and mushrooms. They have those 3 separately or together have the ability to bring out more phytochemicals and
Mm.
antioxidants in other foods that you're
Say
eating.
say that again. Say that again.
When you eat onions and or garlic and or mushrooms with other vegetables, it
Mhm.
helps to bring out
Mm.
their phytochemicals like the
Mm.
sulforaphanes. So
Interesting.
yeah, so for instance, they were talking about when is it better to eat vegetables raw or cooked? And the answer is
Mhm.
yes, because
Uh-huh,
whatever you
both.
consume,
Yeah.
both.
It's
But
mhm.
when we do cook vegetables, we don't want to overcook them because we kill, we reduce their ability. And
Right.
so, with some foods, we can pair them together and they enhance each other. So I was kind
Mhm.
of inspired that I want to try to incorporate onions, garlic, and or mushrooms in
Mhm.
every day if I can.
Yeah, yeah.
So I saute those together, add some bell peppers, then I saute in the tempeh, and I just use some water and a taco seasoning, a homemade taco seasoning that I
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
And meanwhile, I mean, to make it easy, a can of black refried beans that have
Right.
just beans. Um,
Mhm.
I cooked up a little bit of brown rice, and then I top it with avocado and cilantro and
Mm,
lime and
lovely.
slaw, like a cabbage
Oh,
slaw. Oh man,
It sounds divine. Sounds
so
divine.
so that's dinner.
Good. Well, maybe
Yeah.
I'll come to your house.
Yeah.
No, but I woke up this morning feeling like I need a break from food.
Oh,
So today is a fast day, and actually I'm going pretty. What is it, 12:25 or something like that? And I'm feeling like, yeah, this is the right thing, because sometimes you say you're going to fast, and you're fighting it, fighting it, fighting it. I'm not
yes.
fighting it today. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Sounds
I'm
like you're
happy.
working with your biorhythms, right?
Yeah,
With your circadian and kind of like you're
yeah,
feeling it. Listen to the body. You're paying attention,
mhm.
doing it when it
Yeah.
feels good.
Today's a fast day to me. So I hopefully I'm eating myself.
Yeah,
So,
that's for dinner.
no, that there's a word for that, and it's called autophagy.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And tell us what is autophagy, just so people
Yeah,
understand what that
well,
means.
auto self phagy eating. So yeah, so autophagy is our recycling system in our body, because so it does a few things. It gets rid of old dead cells,
Mhm.
and then it also repurposes. Oh, okay, I can still use this part and put it over here. So yeah, so it's our detox, one of the detoxification, and then also recycling is the way I like to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And fasting can help that,
Mhm. Yeah.
because you're giving your organ systems a break.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least your digestive organ systems. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can kick into some really intentional autophagy and
Mhm.
periods of good cleanup, good cellular cleanup.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your body is using any stored fuel that it has
Right. That's right.
to
Yeah.
survive. Yeah.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. I'm not going to keel over, because I can
Right.
trust my body, because I've got some energy in storage here,
Mhm.
and I can trust that we know how to use it. So,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Right.
Well,
Right.
good.
So, all right. Well, enjoy this gorgeous weather. I don't know what it holds for the rest of the week, but we got to get out there and enjoy it today anyway. So,
Yes. Agreed.
yeah. And then look forward to talking with you more about blue zones, Rachel, next
Yes.
time.
Next week we'll dive into the first one of Power 9. We'll talk about moving.
Okay. Beautiful.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.